Can you help us on the new Pyrrolite component? Okay. Pyrrolite component blueprint. First, here are the materials you will need. Pause the video if you need to. Disclaimer, this is actually a repost to fix the mistake over here. So if you already built this, all you need to do is to cut this pipe and this one over here. Make sure to remove it and then select everything from here. Make sure to click this as well. And then connect it like this. There you go. Oops. There we go. Now, you'll know that you fixed it if this one has a stable environment mark on it. And that's it for the fix. Anyways, if you haven't built it yet, let's get on to the video. Now to begin, make sure to have 4 conduit outlets ready beside your base. And we will connect each one to a water, acid, energen, and Xiranite. First, let's connect the one to the water. Right over here, there's a water source nearby. You only need 1 pump, but for the sake of formality, let's do 2 pumps. Place one over here, and then a converger going into the inlet. Connect both fluid pumps going into the inlet. There we go. Now make sure to connect. Now we have water. And if you didn't know, there's actually an acid pool right over here. For this one, we only need 1 pump connected to an inlet. So let's do that. There we go. And then let's connect this one to the one near the base. Next, we need energen. There's one nearby over here. Now for this one, you can actually connect all 6 to a single inlet because energen is actually slower than, or rather the gas extractors are slower than fluid pumps. So having 1 inlet here is more than enough. Let's connect all 6 into them. First, place a converger over here, facing this direction. And then another converger over here, facing this direction. Then let's connect all 3. Make sure this one goes from this direction. This one enters from here. And then this one enters on this side. Now for these 3, do the same thing, 1 on each side. There you go. Connect this one over here. And then place down another converger right over on this spot going into the inlet. And then connect both convergers into this one. Then go into the inlet. Make sure to connect. And there we go. Now let's connect the Xiranite. Now for the Xiranite, we actually need to walk all the way onto this spot right over here. So let's take this and run over there. And then, as usual, a converger for both going into the inlet. Place it here, then connect both, going into the inlet. And there we have it. Now let's go back to base. Now that we are back here at the base, you can see that all 4 resources are over here on the left. And then we have the AIC on the bottom left. We can start by going onto the top right and place down a depot bus port over here. 4 spaces down, place it right over here. And then take a depot bus section, place it over here. There's 2 spaces right there. And then make sure to go all the way to the left. Now that we have that, take a Xiranite pylon, place 5 of them right over here in a straight line. This is just to count. And then make sure there's 1 space left over here. And then place a depot bus port right over here. Remember, one space. And then next we put more depot bus sections similar to this, but it's mirrored, so place it on the bottom right here, going all the way to the left. Now that we are done with the depot bus port and the resources, we can start with the actual build. Now that we have the depot buses ready, let's remove the Xiranite pylons over here on the right. And then let's take the Xiranite conduit outlet and place it on the top left over here. Take a depot unloader, place it over here next to the outlet, and then output cuprium, and then copy it 3 times. Now place another depot unloader over here, outputting separator cores, and then another depot unloader with 3 spaces to the right over here. Make sure to leave 3 spaces. Output Xiranite on this one. There we go. Now to start with the buildings, let's take a solid to gas transmuting unit and place it over here. Make sure to leave 2 spaces. And then place another one right over here. 1 space in between. Purification, also 1 space. Another solid to gas over here. 1 space as well. And then a gas reactor globe over here. And then another solid to gas transmuting over here, but make sure to switch it to solidify. There we go. Now, take your gas dispersing unit, place it on the lower left corner of the purification unit with the opening on the left, and then another one below the gas reactor globe on the right corner with the opening on the right. Now, take a fitting unit and place it over here. Make sure to leave 2 spaces here, aligned like this. And then a fluid to gas conversion right over here. Rotate twice so that the opening can go to the gas dispersing unit. Now, let's take our energen and place it over here. Connect it straight to the gas dispersing unit. And then take the acid one and place it above the fluid transmuting unit. Place it here and connect it like this. Now let's power with pylons over here, and over here, and finally over here. Now let's connect the pipes. For the pipes, let's start with the conduit outlet of the Xiranite. To do this, we connect it to the first one, to the second one, to the third one, and then to the fourth one. Now take a pipe splitter, face it to the right, place it above this one, and then above this one. Now we have all of them ready. Now place a pipe control port over here, and then make sure to choose Xiranite, turn on adjust flow, switch it to 6 units per minute, and then copy this and then paste it onto the others. There we go. Now let's connect the unloaders to the solid gas, the separator core to the purification unit, and then the Xiranite to this one. Everything below them. Now, place a pipe converger going into the purification unit, and then make sure to connect both of these into one purification unit. So let's do that. Click this, click here, into the converger, the bottom one over here. Make sure to click on this spot, going into the converger. Now the Xiranite gas will go straight into the gas reactor globe, so click it over here. Make sure to place a converger over here, going downwards, and output 2 from the Xiranite gas, because this one outputs 2 Xiranite gas every time. Now, for the Xiranite, just connect it straight. There you go. And then the gas reactor globe just goes straight into this one. Now, for the solid gas, just make sure to input it into the fitting unit, and then place a depot loader below the fitting unit over here, and connect it like this. Make sure to follow the same way as I did it. Now we're done with the first part of the build. Now that we are done with the first part, let's proceed on the bottom half. For this one, we're gonna do the fix over here, which I failed to put the purification unit fully inside the dispersing unit. So first, let's rotate the camera, and then take our water supply and place it over here on the left, with the opening on the right. Now, take your depot unloader, place it over there, output Xiranite. There we go. Now, take your reactor crucible, place it over here, connect both, like this, water and Xiranite, and then let's move over here. First, place your fluid to gas transmuting unit aligned like this, and then two solid to gas over here. Make sure there's one space always, and then a purification unit, same pattern, one space, and then another solid gas but on solidify mode. And there we go. Now take this unloader and copy it over here and over here above the solid gas. And then above the purification unit, we need a depot unloader outputting separator cores. There we go. Now connect. And now let's handle the pipes. For here, let's take a pipe splitter facing to the right, place it over here above this one and over here. Now connect the orange pipe like this, going here and going here. For the bottom one, click here and straight into the fluid gas. And then make sure you're outputting liquid Xiranite on the orange pipe. Take two pipe control ports, place one over here and over here. Both of these will be liquid Xiranite, and then adjust flow to 6 units per minute. There we go. Now take your Xiranite output from this one, click here above, going into all three of these. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we need to bridge our pipe later over here, so we can't put a pipe control port. So I'll show you how to do it. First, a splitter over here, facing to the right on these two. Then put a pipe control port over here and over here. The bottom one will only have Xiranite on 6 units per minute, but this one will have Xiranite on 12 units per minute. That's because the splitter will make it 6 for this one and 6 for this one. Since we need to bridge, pipe control ports will not work over here, or the bridge will not work. So from this one, click over here. Now we can bridge, going into the purification unit. Now, place a pipe converger going into the purification unit over here. And then from this one, make sure to click here and then click here, going to the converger. Then the purification unit just connects to this solid gas transmuting unit. Now, place a depot loader over here, and then output the heavy Xiranite going into it. And that should be done for the heavy Xiranite. As for the last part, all we need to do is to place a gearing unit over here, and then place down two depot unloaders, one of them outputting Pyrrolite part, and then the other outputting heavy Xiranite. There we go. Connect both, and then place a depot loader again over here, and then connect. Anyways, that should be all. Goodbye. If you find that helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.